The Lord's judgment on Ahaziah. After Ahab's death, Moab rebelled against Israel. Now Ahaziah had fallen through the lattice of his upper room in Samaria and injured himself. So he sent messengers saying to them, "Go and consult Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron, to see if I will recover from this injury." But the angel of the Lord said to Elijah the Tishbite, "Go up and meet the messengers of the king of Samaria and ask them, is it because there is no God in Israel that you are going off to consult Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore, this is what the Lord says: You will not leave the bed you are lying on. You will certainly die." So Elijah went. When the messengers returned to the king, he asked them, "Why have you come back?" "A man came to meet us," they replied, "and he said to us, 'Go back to the king who sent you and tell him, this is what the Lord says. Is it because there is no God in Israel that you are sending men to consult Baal-zebub, the god of Ekron? Therefore, you will not leave the bed you are lying on. You will certainly die.'" The king asked them, "What kind of man was it who came to meet you and told you this?" They replied, "He was a man with a garment of hair and with a leather belt around his waist." The king said, "That was Elijah the Tishbite." Then he sent to Elijah a captain with his company of 50 men. The captain went up to Elijah, who was sitting on the top of a hill, and said to him, "Man of God, the king says, come down." So I'm going to do a quick pause or a pause just to kind of give us where we are located. So remember that we're going through the kings of both Israel and Judah at this point. And right now we're with King Ahaziah. And this is, so the people of Israel, they've left Egypt. They left out of bondage and slavery. They made a covenant with the Lord that the Lord would be their God. And we've gone through we've gone through Saul, then David, then Solomon, then his children. And then during Solomon's children, the kingdom was split. 10 tribes went to Israel, and one tribe followed still, which was Judah, followed the lineage of David. And so now we're at the point where Israel hardly follows the Lord. Like, they've kind of, those who do, they've kind of mixed religions and mixed practices with other religions and practices. They built high places to worship for other gods. And even so much, now they're even worshiping what used to be the Canaanites gods, and the who were pushed out because that was part of their consequence for rejecting the Lord, basically, and not worshiping the Lord. So the Lord was giving Israel that land, and now the Israelites are doing the exact same thing that was done previously, all the detestable acts. And so we're now at a point in Israel's lineage, or in Israel's timeline, where not even the king is seeking advice from the Lord. He's seeking advice from something else, which is nothing. And so that's why Elijah is saying what he's saying. He's basically saying, look, Israel's fallen so far, they're not even seeking the Lord anymore. They don't even know him. And it just shows just how far off Israel has slid down that hill. And it also gives us basically additional knowledge about how things can repeat in history. And things are good and things slowly go away, because when things are good, people tend to forget. People tend to not humble themselves, not to glorify the Lord. Do we do that past to present? When everything's going good. We're able to go and pay all of our bills, and we're able to do and pay for all of our groceries and have things in the shelf and have a comfortable life, and even buy additional things, have some type of wealth where you can actually purchase things that are not necessary. Treat yourself to different things, different activities, going on vacations, holidays, etc. Do we get to a point of where we feel like we've worked so hard that we just have time to enjoy it and it's all about us? And then we somehow tend to forget who gave us all that opportunity, who put it in line for us, and who provided it actually for us. Yes, you still had to get up in the morning, but who gave you the ability to wake up? Who gave you the air to breathe? Who gave you the knowledge to do what you're doing? And so those are things that we need to make sure to humble ourselves and think about in our walk with the Lord. And so that's one thing that definitely comes up on my mind when it comes to situations as what we're reading about currently. And so much so that us as a persons, as a community, or as a family, as a community, even as a church, we always need to be aware of and make sure that we're not sliding into some slippery slope and not continuing our walk with the Lord and being humble and being thankful for the good times, and also seeking Him in the bad times, and not just seeking whatever else or trying to figure it out all the time on our own, but also relying on the Lord and praying about it. So there's a lot to think about. And of course, definitely, you could be going through some tough times, even illness, and all good things come from above. So the Lord may put in your mind, hey, it's time to go to the doctor. Go listen to those things, pray about it. And once you have that peace, go to the doctor or get the treatments that you may need. Leave it into the Lord's hand for that help, that you are thinking about. And so there's a lot to think about. So those are just things that I was thinking about. But what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read this? How does it make you feel, and what does it make you think?